Hey, good morning, guys. Gonna start in a second. It's Goose here, and welcome, guys, to StockTraders.net. This is Stock Talk with Ricky and Goose. Guys, we're one of the leading online trading communities with free trading rooms, premium live HD trading. Guys, make sure you join us today. I think you guys will be extremely impressed. And if you have any questions about anything that we're doing on this broadcast, like we mentioned, sign into the trading floor. Feel free to send us any of us a message on DM, and we'll be happy to go through anything and answer any questions about any of the stuff we're covering or anything regarding the premium memberships as well, and help guide you in. Just to remind you guys, nothing that we're mentioning, this morning, we're not trying to solicit anything about any of our trades. We're just discussing some ideas for informational purposes. Please read our full disclosure below, and very important for us. Our purpose, we're not trying to, inundate you guys with 20 different ideas. We're trying to bring you just a few ideas, explain what we're looking at, and it's always quality over quantity and waiting for the proper setups. And this morning, let's have Ricky start us off again. And with that said, Ricky, why don't you take over?
Thanks, Goose. Good morning, everybody. NYSE wasn't something I was planning on talking about, but I do want to mention that they did just price their offering that they did the other night. They priced it at 2. We had mentioned 2 days ago, I think, that they have both an offering on the horizon as well as a reverse split. We didn't know which one would come first. Well, now we know the offering, and so now it's just a ticking time bomb before they do their reverse split. But today, guys, so stay on your toes with that. So let's move on to the first one that I had planned on talking about, which is KONE. It's got a pretty big gap up this morning. It's up 60% pre-market. They have SSR on. The news was that they are contemplating an asset exchange agreement. The thing about this, guys, I want everyone to know is that it still needs shareholder approval. The deal probably won't be done till around July. The chairman, who recently passed away, I believe, last month in December, he owns almost 50% of the OS. And that's something just to keep in the back of your mind. And I believe his son is now filling his seat, who is also the president of CGA, which is another publicly traded company. And if you need another example of a former spike that doesn't hold its gains, go ahead and look at CGA. They're cash flow negative, and they will file their annual report late. So there's a red flag there. And they're trying to buy companies by issuing shares. So it's definitely not something that I can recommend being long biased on. They do trade thin, so it's not something that is going to be tradable unless there's volume. But right up against this previous resistance. So we'll have to see how the price action and the volume come in. The next ticker I want to talk about is VTVT, which is a very interesting ticker indeed. If you look back at the, is it a 6K or an 8K? I can't remember if they're foreign or not. They have an agreement, number 6, I believe. The deal was done on December 5th. It's with a fund to purchase up to 10 million of their common, their Class A common, at a price of $4.38 over the period of a year. Well, that whole purchase has already been done. The fund now holds about 28 million shares of Class A common after you account for the ability to convert their Class B to Class A. So the tradable float on this is probably only about 7 million shares. This company is also cash flow negative, and it operates as a going concern. But the fund that just gave them the 10 million, it's also comprised of members of their board. So they also know how to play the game very well. It was only 16 days after they told you about the $10 million deal, they issued an 8K describing a licensing deal, which if you look at when they did their deal and the price they did it at, it was almost the bottom. I mean, I don't at all. And I know that you want to focus on the 2.3 million shares they acquired for $10 million. But those are unregistered. They filed the Form D on it. And I think the real elephant in the room is going to be the 25 million shares of the Class B common that they own, because that can be exchanged for Class A shares on a one-to-one basis. So these guys own around 80% of the company. And I would like to point out that it's currently just butting up against this this previous resistance, and it hasn't rejected very convincingly. I mean, if you look at how it did the same thing down here, just consolidated right above the 200, the possibility of some more consolidation right here, and then a possible break over these levels, and it could have another leg up. So I would not want to be shorting this right now, considering institutional or insider ownership on this, guys. I know just because they're cash flow negative and they are bio and they're going to need funding for their future studies and stuff, that people tend to get overly short bias on these things, but I don't recommend shorting this yet. Real quick note, I just want to point out a few things. I would a break of this low on SBUX, 56 under 56.50. I would look for a wash down to this 56 area for a possible buying opportunity. And last but not least, real fast, just want to mention Boeing. These guys are gigantic. They comprise about 8% of the S&P, which is huge. Good earnings. They're breaking out over this Psych 350 level. I would possibly be looking for a long opportunity if we can get a pullback to about 350, 351, and it shows that it can hold. Lastly, just want to say, I write things on my mirror that I don't want to forget in dry erase marker. This morning, my mirror reads, "Don't be a piker." I want to point out, when you take a trade, have a predefined entry, stop loss, and first target. If you do that, everything else that happens in between is simply noise. You need to do this, guys, in order to maximize your winners. But enough of all that. Let's get to what everyone's waiting for. Goose, what you got for us?
Hey, Ricky, thanks a lot, man. Good job. So let me just get into my list because I know I got a few minutes to go over this. I want to be pretty quick and precise. Overstock, looking at OSTK this morning. Looking at it from a long perspective, I really do like the long. I feel like with the market, indicating that it's going to have a decent open. I'm all about the long on this, but what I'm hoping for is maybe an imbalance at the open, back down to the 70 area where I could get a little scoop. If I have to pay up in the 71s or 72s, but I'm looking for a push back up on 76 is where I'm thinking, which is right over here, just below the 20-day. I think it could get there, and this obviously has great range. So Overstock's definitely on my hot list today. Moving along, I'm trying to go a little bit faster, so hang on a sec. ICHR, a couple different names that I'm throwing at you today. ICHR, what I'm looking at on this is, I like when the daily's looking like this. I see the level, has some nice coverage on the stock. I'm looking for a push up on 34. Now, the problem is it is up a little bit already this morning, up almost $1. It was on my hit list, but I still want to mention it to you because sometimes you see these wicks on the daily. Let me blow it up for you a little better so you can see. I like that. They're seeming to be, bought up. So if I could see, a little wash in the mid 31s or something like that, all about entry, guys. Be patient. 31 might be a long call because, or a tough call because obviously prior close 32. But shoot, anywhere around this area, I would take the long, looking for a push up on 34. I do like this as a setup, and we'll see what happens. I do see all the this 35 area, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a breakout today. I want to see if it's, soaks back up today, trend forms, and then we could push. And you could see the action from yesterday. I think you got plenty of risk reward. You got a pretty defined level as far as what you could use as an out. So I like the setup. Entries, everything. It's a little bit lower volume stock, under 1 million shares traded all day yesterday. So keep that in mind when you're taking, whatever size, if you're looking at and things like that. Always factor that into the equation. Lastly, INSY I'm looking at. This is those that know me know I love the my averages and stuff. This is a great setup for me. Okay. To me, it feels like it wants to do a little flag here and push back up on 1050 or 11. I like this setup a lot right off the 200-day, especially if we have an update today. And this is going to be definitely on my priority list. And I think you have very defined, out on this thing as well. It's up a little bit this morning, but you could see, anywhere in this area around the, this would be my entry. You got a pretty defined out. I wouldn't ride it down. You're using this 960 area as an out or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. But if I get a good entry on this, I really do like it. So I'm going to keep mine a little bit short today. I got a lot of things on watch. I did mention also, and I'll keep this quick too, is I think there's going to be a rotation with the market being up and the big slam yesterday. You might see some of these small caps moving around. I mentioned it to the guys in the room this morning. Make sure you're taking your trades, because we've seen them rotate on days like this. If they start popping up and all these small caps start popping up and moving, make sure you're taking your trades, guys. Okay, be smart about it. That's what we are. We're traders. Don't marry them, and make sure you're trading the action. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna turn it back over to Ricky. You guys stay safe. Have a great day today. It's only Wednesday. We got a lot of week left, so don't force anything. And let's have a good one, guys.
Thanks, Goose. And as always, guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. If you like what we're doing, hit that like button, the thumbs up, please. Subscribe, turn on notifications so you can know whenever STN goes live. StockTraders.net. You guys need to come over and check us out. If you like what we're doing here, you're going to love the value we're providing over there. So I hope everybody crushes it today. Make sure you plan your trades and trade your plan. Let's get it.